Hey everyone! Metaphor ReFantazio is now available as its full release, and fortunately we have seen some improvements from the demo version. If you remember this scene from our demo coverage, it pretty much crippled it whenever that hotel building was in the background, but as you can see here, it's running very smooth. Anti-aliasing is still a bit of a weird issue on the deck, but we don't have to dip down to even 75% resolution scale anymore. We can actually dial this up. By default, it does have ambient occlusion and rendering scale at 100%, which does cause a few issues, especially later on, but we can actually dial this up to 125% with high texture quality and ambient occlusion off, which pretty much counters that weird anti-aliasing effect. It looks really clear. And although we only get around 30 to 40 frames per second, in this style of game, it's really not a problem. Overall, I am going to recommend that you either cap this at a 30 frames per second rate on the deck to give rock solid performance, or if you don't mind it waving up and down a little bit and you just turn that FPS overlay off, you will gain those extra frames per second in a lot of areas just to keep a bit of smoothness and it looking as fluid as possible. If you don't cap it though, it will push up to 22 watts, meaning you're only going to get about 2 hours battery on the OLED and only around an hour and a half at best on the LCD, so you're going to want to be close to a power source. Capping it at 30 will get you around 13 watts usage, so it will push you to around 3 to 4 hours on the OLED and about 2.5 on the LCD. Overall though, the performance on this is a lot better. Being able to push that extra high resolution does make it look much better on the deck overall, especially getting rid of a lot of those anti-aliasing effects. And when we're in dungeons, we can even push up to 60 frames per second quite happily. When we're actually in the instance battles, it will sit at that 60 frames per second a lot better if you cap it at 60. I'm sure it would push a little bit higher if you'd want it to, but there's really no need for it in this one. So being able to have the better looking graphics and at 50 to 60 frames per second in most of the battles is definitely my favorite way to play this. And the writing is just extremely good, and every time I dive into this I lose an hour or two because I just want to keep playing. Overall, I will definitely be playing through more on this, and I know that it opens up a bit more in a couple more hours as well. So maybe I'll do an update, especially keeping an eye on the patches for this one, as it is just such an awesome game. And I know people keep asking, yes, the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero video is coming. Hopefully it'll be in the next day or two. It's just a bit tougher than I was expecting, and I want to get a good feel for the game. Let's know in the comments below what you've been playing in the meantime. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.